Hi everybody and welcome once again to Ruby's Classic Cooking. I'm going to play a bit of catch up here. I've got my chicken soup stock that I made last summer in August when remember that video I did on what to do with all your leftover chicken soup parts? Well, I made soup with it and took lovely pictures of it, and then I forgot to show you how to make the soup. And I thought, well, that was kind of counterproductive. So today I'm going to make that. So I have some of that broth that's left over. I'm going to put this in my 6-liter stock pot, and that's probably about 14 cups in volume. It's a nice big one, nice heavy duty big one, and I put about 6 cups of stock in here to start off with. And this is a half a chicken breast that I cooked the other night, and it's leftovers, so I'm just going to chop this up into smaller bits, and I'm going to put this in here to be the chicken for my chicken soup. And I have here a turnip, which a lot of people call rutabagas, but we just call them purple top sweet. An onion, cabbage, green cabbage, some carrots, some rice, some dried soup mix vegetables, which will give me a nice mixture of vegetables in here, some salt and pepper, and that's all that's going to be going in my soup. So I'll just start chopping and put this on. And when this is done, it should look every bit as nice as the one that I took pictures of, which I forgot to show you how to make. Anyway, here we go. So let me rename that video Chicken Soup Base. This makes a lovely thick chicken stock, and I peeled this and deboned this chicken breast, or half chicken breast really, so it doesn't take a whole lot of meat to do this with really. I'm just going to chop it up fine because you want nice little fine pieces of meat really in your chicken soup so that it fits your spoon nicely and it spreads through the soup. It gives you lots of nice chicken soup and chicken in your soup. This isn't like the stuff you buy in the can that has 3 pieces of chicken that are 1/16 of an inch, 2 millimeters. Okay, so now I'm going to chop up my onion. And I don't care that it's not cooked, it's just going to go in here raw. And I'm going to try and chop it fairly finely. I suppose if I'm going to do this, I probably should move this thing so you can see this. You do this. And I'm not a trained chef. To me, the one rule in the kitchen when you're dealing with knives is don't cut yourself. Don't do things that are going to end up with you cutting yourself. So nobody ever taught me knife chopping skills. I just kind of picked them up myself. So I know there's better ways more efficient ways of doing this, but like I said, for home cooking purposes, it's always worked for me. So get that in there. And when I get all my ingredients in here, I'm just going to pop that on the stove and let it simmer for 4 or 5 hours. And then I'll show you what the results look like when I'm all done cooking it. And it will be a delicious, yummy soup. Whenever you roast the chicken, you've always got they've got a little bit of juice in the bottom of the pan. That you can use to make gravy with when you're roasting a chicken, or you can save that to use for chicken stock for when you're making a soup or chicken stew or whatever you want to add some extra chicken flavor. Okay, now that's the chicken and the onion in there. Now I've got this cheat. This is a Pampered Chef piece, and if you can find it's like an ulu type of thing. It's great because it's perfect for cutting a hard turnip or a squash or something like that, because you can just use a 2-hand approach, and it's much safer than using a knife on it. Much safer. And you can just chop this down and make nice little pieces. And you can do it very quickly. Bonus, you get these cute little ridges on your turnip pieces, which really aren't all that important, but it's just the way it cuts. Like I say, you want to cut your vegetables nice and small so that they fit on a spoon when you're eating this soup. And I bought a stew pack at the farm market for $2.99. And I got this, and I got this. I got about 10 carrots. This is only 4 of them. To that I have added my chicken stock, my onion, and I'm going to be adding my freeze-dried vegetables. So actually this is a fairly cheap meal, and it will make many bowls of soup. Probably make 8 or more bowls of soup. And a bowl of soup, I mean like 2 cups, which is like 500 milliliters of soup, which is a good sized portion of soup. When I've had a bowl of soup that size, I'm not hungry for anything else. And it has your vegetables, it has rice, you can put noodles in it if you prefer noodles. You're making this soup, you add the veggies you like, the veggies you have on hand, the veggies you like. If you don't like carrots, well then don't add carrots to your soup. If you'd rather put potatoes in here, go ahead and add potatoes to it. If you like soup noodles, or you want to add lentils to it, or you want to add barley to it, I don't know. Barley goes better with beef soup than it does with chicken, to tell you the truth. And I'll be adding barley to my hamburger soup next time. I'll be making some hamburger soup in the near future because it's fall. It's the 12th of November here, so cold weather will be coming soon to our neighborhood, and nothing is nicer at lunchtime, I find, than a nice, comforting, warm hot bowl of soup to have. Anyway, when I'm doing a beef stew, I'll buy a stew pack, and they often come with parsnips. Well, there's only one vegetable that my husband and I do not like, and that's parsnips. So I'm afraid they don't get used in my soup. So I usually try to pick a pack that doesn't have one, or that has a really tiny one. Because they sell you a stew pack is 5 pounds of vegetables, and I don't want to waste my weight on a parsnip that neither one of us are going to want. So, which I often end up giving away. If it's a nice big one, sometimes I'll find somebody who likes parsnips and give them a little gift. It's really, I don't like parsnips at all. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like some people love cilantro and some people think it tastes like soap. I don't know. Because I'm one of the people who thinks it tastes like soap, which is kind of odd. But there you go. Oh, my turnip is escaping. But that's okay. It's just a few little pieces of turnip. And some people would say, well, why add cabbage to soup? Well, it's in the stew pack. And why not? If you like cabbage in things, it just adds a flavor to it. If you like cabbage, use it. If you don't like cabbage, make some coleslaw. Coleslaw is simple stuff to do with cabbage. Except at the grocery store, they seem to think that coleslaw is worth its weight in gold or something or other. It's like, it's really very easy to do. Especially if you have a food processor or you have an attachment for your sand mixer that allows you to grind things up. And you can just use your shredder wheel to shred up the cabbage. Or if you don't have any of those, there are box graters, and you can use a box grater on it. It's a little less fun and more messy when you have to watch out for your fingers. Okay, and here I am chopping my cabbage in half too. It's like splitting a log. And I have a nice big flat surface to work on. I can just eliminate the core of my cabbage here. I used to love to eat raw cabbage when I was a kid. I still like to have raw cabbage sometimes. It's crunchy and kind of sweet. It has a little tart taste to it. There's nothing wrong with eating vegetables and knowing the vegetables and embracing them and enjoying them, you know? I don't see why, I really don't understand why people have to pretend that vegetables are meat or that they're something else entirely different. Vegetables are worth eating just because they're vegetables. And now I'm into my carrots. I'll just use this on my carrots too. Usually I just use a knife on my carrots, but make them nice and thin so they cook nicely and fit your spoon. Sometimes I cut them the other way too. They start getting too big. There we go. And a half a cup of rice. This is not like minute rice. This is the kind you have to boil for 20 minutes. There we go. Maybe even a bit more than that. And about a cup, about 3/4 of a cup of rice. And also, about half a cup of these big vegetables, which will give me a nice mixture of vegetables. There we go. Yeah, I think I'm definitely going to add a half a teaspoon or a teaspoon of summer savory to this. All right. And again, I'm just going to eyeball half a teaspoon of summer savory, which I told you was the secret ingredient for poultry here in Nova Scotia and Eastern Canada that we use. And it is wonderful for soups, stews, for chicken, or when you're roasting a turkey or a chicken. Just watch my roast turkey and all the trimmings video, and I talk all about summer savory and that, okay? I'm just gonna leave you now while I chop up these carrots, and I'm just gonna stir this all up, put this on the stove to simmer for about 3 hours, and I'll come back and show you what my finished soup looks like. Hi, and just before I pop this on the stove, I thought I'd tell you I put 6 cups of water in here to bring this up. So I now see how full my pot is now. Give my vegetables a chance to expand and cook up. Hi everybody, it's the next day. I didn't get back to you last night with this soup. It finished cooking and we had company come over, and you know what? The soup got left on the stove probably longer than it should have been. But here's my soup the next day. I've chilled it all in the refrigerator. And now I'm going to package it up today in individual portions. Now there's a lot of cabbage in here. And there you go. There's a nice spoonful of my soup. And I'm going to be filling up some containers with soup. I probably have 12 to 14 cups of soup here, which would be somewhere between 2 and 2.5 liters of soup. And I've got my measuring cup here, which does 500 milliliters or 2 cups. Which is about the same capacity as my bowl. What I do is I do my soup up in containers or in plastic bags or whatever I have, and I freeze it. And when I want a bowl of soup for lunch or sometimes for dinner, I take a package of my vegetable laden soup and chicken with lots of chicken and vegetables in it, and heat that up in the microwave or on top of the stove. And it makes a lovely one-person portion meal. And if I have somebody else eating with me, well, I just grab 2 containers of it and heat it up. I'm just going to put this in here. And there you go. It's all packaged, ready to go into the freezer. So let's put the lid on here. Reusing the same containers I had my chicken stock in last night. So there we go. My husband doesn't care for soup, so I don't do it up in 2-person portions, just 1-person portion. So I have a whole pile of vegetables and all kinds of good things in there. And all I did after yesterday was I left this on the stove to simmer in my nice hot heavy duty stainless steel pot. Now you need one that's good and heavy, but it has a nice heavy bottom so that will simmer without burning the soup in the bottom. And then you just leave it for 3 or 4 hours till your vegetables get nice and soft, and then you take it off the stove, cool it off in your refrigerator, or just take it and start packaging it up, but not in plastic bags when it's super hot because it'll melt them, and portion them out in whatever size bowls you want. And then, you know, I measured my bowl originally to see how much it held comfortably, and 2 cups works out perfectly. So, and I'll be having a bowl of this soup for lunch today. So I'm just going to go about and package my soup, and when I write up my description file below, I'll make sure I tell you how many bowls of soup, how many liters or cups that I got from it. Okay, and that you saw everything I did yesterday, and that's how you make homemade soup. If you want to add a little thyme or a little parsley or a little, whatever your favorite seasonings are to go with chicken, you feel free to do that because it'll enhance the flavor of your soup. If you add something like bay leaves, make sure you fish them out before you package up your soup, because otherwise you'll have something really crunchy, and bay leaves are nice to cook with but not to eat afterwards. I hope you will like and subscribe, and that you will make some comments below, even try making this soup. And I hope you'll join me next time on Ruby's Classic Cooking. Bye for now.